This is your no bullshit guide to a happier life. Quick, but not necessarily easy tips to help you to squeeze every last drop of enjoyment out of your business and your life. My name is Helen Calvert. I'm a coach, a business owner and a parent, and I'm so happy to be here with you. I do swear occasionally, as the title suggests, so pop in your headphones if I'm not safe for little ears. Ready to go? Let's do this. Hello and welcome to this episode where we're going to be talking about being our own best friend. This is the second episode in season 3, which is all about our relationship with ourselves. And today we are talking about befriending ourselves. There's many things we can be to ourselves. I'm starting with being our own best friend because I feel like friendship is probably one of the least problematic things we're going to be looking at. You know, we choose our friends, unlike our family members, and we usually know what it is that we value in a friendship. So we're going to start here with being our own best friend. One of the key premises to this season of the podcast is that anything good that other people bring to our lives, we want to be choosing to bring that to ourselves as well. The more that we can bring to ourselves, the happier we will be. As I've said before, you know, we're the only person whose behaviour we can control. So by making the choice to show up for ourselves, we know that we will be looked after our whole life long by us. Because we can control how we show up for ourselves. And no matter how loving or wonderful are the other people in our lives, we cannot control how they show up for us. We can only control how we show up for ourselves. So what does a best friend do? I mean, friendship is a whole interesting topic and concept in and of itself. And we know there's different kinds of friend, and friends we see all the time, friends we see on occasion. So I'm not going to lay down rules for friendship here. But some of the things that I think we can imagine a best friend would do are things like remembering your birthday, you know, noticing it, celebrating it, honouring it, checking in with you when you're down. So do you check in with yourself when you're feeling low? Hey, how are you doing? How can I help? Showing compassion to you when you've made mistakes. You know, I would think that that's a pretty basic premise of friendship. Our friends don't show up and go, oh my God, well, you're such an idiot. We would hope that they show up with some love for us when we make mistakes. Having your back, you know, being on your own team. Our friends are on our team. They have our back. And even when we've done something wrong and they might sort of say to us, you could have done that better. In public, out in the world, they're on our team. And we want that from ourselves, for ourselves, being on our own team. Planning to do fun things, just having some fun. Do you plan to do fun things with yourself and for yourself? A bit of enjoyment, that's a huge part of friendship, isn't it? What are we going to do? Are we going to go out? Are we going to do something nice? Can we do that for ourselves? And of course, speaking kindly to ourselves and encouraging ourselves. Really important. I love the self-talk. And another one that I think is so vital is not allowing other people to treat us like shit. Our friends show up and say, how dare they? She can't talk to you like that. He can't treat you like that. Do we show up for ourselves that way and not allow people to treat us badly? Are we our own best friends in that way as well? The important thing as well about befriending ourselves and bringing all of these things to ourselves and showing ourselves that kind of friendship is that, it gives our actual best friends a bit of a break. What do I mean by that? I don't mean that we're some kind of huge burden, but, we all know what it's like to try to support someone that we love, that we're friends with. We love these people, but trying to support someone who refuses to show up for themselves. We've all been there, haven't we? No matter what you say to that person, they cannot muster their own self-belief, and it's quite exhausting. It's hard to consistently show up as a friend to someone who will not show up for themselves. Everything you would want to give to a friend, are you giving that to yourself? Are you showing up for yourself? Because we can't expect others to consistently show up for us when we refuse to show up for ourselves. That is exhausting for them. And no matter how much they love us and how much they want to give us friendship, it makes it very hard for them. And if we flip the tables there and think about what we give to other people, it's very hard for us to give anything to others if we're not giving it to ourselves. You know, it kind of becomes a bit of a castle built on sand, really. So there are lots of reasons why it's important to be showing up for ourselves in the role of our own best friend. And of course, self-talk is such a huge part of it. Have a look at recent messages you've had from supportive friends. Can you start to, or restart if you've lapsed, or continue to talk to yourself that way? Have a look at those messages, the way people talk to you when they're being supportive. You know, the actual helpful ones. Can you talk to yourself that way? Can you bring that kind of energy to the way you speak to yourself inside your own head and the way you speak about yourself? When I turned 40, I wrote 3 birthday cards to myself. Is that something that you've ever done? Have you written a card to yourself the way that a friend writes a supportive card when you need it? Have you written down what you love about yourself, what you appreciate in yourself, thank you to yourself for things you've done, gratitude towards yourself, love and encouragement? It's a powerful thing. And can you spend time with yourself? Now, this is something that I have always found easy to do. I love taking myself out to dinner. I love taking myself for a day out. You know, it's just something that comes very naturally to me. I know some people find it really difficult, and I'm not too sure why it would be sort of strange to just spend time with yourself. You know, I'm not suggesting that you have to sort of sit there and have a meal with yourself and have a big, deep conversation. You can, but, you know, take a book, take something to watch on YouTube. You know, I don't really see why that would be a problem, because it's wonderful to treat ourselves, you know, and especially if there's something you want to do that other people don't want to do, just go do it. You know, be your own best friend. Just get out there and live life. My goodness, don't wait for other people to want to do it or to have the time or for things to line up the way you want them to. It's like, I really want to try that new restaurant. Okay, off you go. Have a great time. Yeah, that's something that friends do. They treat each other. Have some fun. Spend some time with yourself as your friend. And as we talked about last episode, you know, when you get to know yourself, it's far easier to befriend yourself. You know, you don't have to be a good person to deserve your own friendship. Be your own cheerleader. How do you celebrate your wins and successes? That's something that friends do, isn't it? Celebrate our wins and successes. Do you do that for yourself? Are you honest with yourself? You know, a true friend in a compassionate and loving way is going to tell us when we're being a bit of a dick. Can you be honest with yourself that way, but from a place of friendship, not from a place of beating yourself up and shaming yourself, from a place of, I love you, but wow, that was a mess. I love you, but could have done that better, couldn't we? Okay, all right, as long as we acknowledge that, but you know, that's okay. Cup of tea, start again. Another really important part of friendship that I think we recognise perhaps more when we're children, but it does carry on into adulthood, is friends and friendship groups can help us to understand what belonging looks like. And when it's healthy, it makes us feel like we do belong, which is a wonderful feeling. But sometimes it can be a bit toxic, can't it? In order to be a part of this friendship group, in order to stay a part of this friendship group, you have to do X, Y, Z to belong. And being our own best friend means that we can take the time to figure out who we actually want to be. Because we've all been in those toxic friendship groups, maybe for years, maybe for not for very long, but, you know, we've abandoned ourselves to belong. We know when we're doing it. We still do it now as adults on occasion. But being your own best friend means choosing where you want to belong, who you want to be, what you want it to look like for you, and creating your own space that then you can potentially welcome others into. We don't have to go out searching for somewhere we belong. We can fully meet ourselves, befriend ourselves, and say, this is what I am, this is who I am, this is how I want to belong in the world, and if you would like to join me in this space, you're very, very welcome. We don't have to go out and seek. We can just provide for ourselves. You know, friendships can sometimes be difficult because we don't know if we're acceptable. You know, is it okay to bring this? Is it okay to show up as that? Again, when we fully meet ourselves and befriend ourselves, it's huge because it will help us to understand the friendships we actually need. Again, it's not about chasing the approval of people who might not actually be the appropriate people for us. It's about understanding who we are, how we want to belong in the world, befriending ourselves, and then finding friendships that complement that and help that and nurture that. This may all sound completely through the looking glass to you if you're not used to befriending yourself, but it's really important things to think about. You'll have heard me talk as well about owning our own story and befriending ourselves and encouraging ourselves in the things that we like and enjoy, even if they're not cool, even if they're not what the group might accept. That's hugely important. The things we might say, oh, that's my guilty pleasure. Why is it a guilty pleasure? Why is it not just a pleasure? You know, something we apologise for. Oh, you know, I'm sorry, but you know what I'm like? I like to be in bed early. Okay, that's fine. Something we feel we always need to explain. Oh no, I can't do that. So I don't really want to do that because I don't like crowds, or I don't like. Okay, it's all good. You know, you don't need to explain. And when you befriend yourself, you don't need to explain yourself or feel bad. You can just own your own story. I am this. I like this. I choose me as my friend, and I am enough. And then you don't need to find other people who will tell you how you should be. And you don't need to go and seek a rule book to live by. You know, how should I live? Let's find this group of people. Let's listen to these friends and I'll just do what they say. And again, abandoning ourselves. Befriend yourself. And then we can go and find out who are the people who help us with that. You know, the true friends are the people who help us to be the person we are, the person we want to be. And they don't give us a set of rules that mean we have to abandon ourselves. But we can only really work with that and find those relationships when we have first befriended ourselves. And we've always got our own back, no matter what happens. So I'd love to know how you are going to be your own best friend this week. Please do let me know. You can get in touch with me via the show notes. I love to hear from you all. I love to hear how you're doing and what you're taking from these episodes and, you know, the different things you're trying. You can join my Happier Life Facebook group. Again, that's in the show notes, and continue the conversation in there. But just come as you are, you know, fully accepting of yourself, your own best friend. You don't have to show up in a way that you think will impress me or anybody else. Just come as your own best friend, fully accepting of everything that you are and supporting yourself in that. Because if we can be our own best friends, my goodness, what a happy way to live. So, of course, part of that is being excessively kind to ourselves. And let's see if befriending ourselves can help us to squeeze every last drop of enjoyment out of life. Speak to you next time. Thank you so much for listening. Did you know that my first book is now available to purchase online? Check out the show notes for details of how to get your hands on a copy. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd be so grateful if you could leave me a review, and don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are up. If you would like to work with me one-to-one or follow more of my content, you can find out how in the show notes. See you next time.